Guess what time it is? Friday Jams! Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Rock Your Brand Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Boker, a serial entrepreneur on a mission to help you. This show is designed to teach you, to inspire you, to motivate you to take massive action and build a future-proof business. So, whether you're just starting out or taking your existing business to the next level, this is your home. Now, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's rock your brand. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this Friday Jam session. Super excited you're here. And if you haven't heard me say it before, I'm going to say it right now. This is probably one of the highlights of my week because I get to hang out with some cool people every single Friday and answer some really awesome questions. Now, you might be asking, Scott, how do I get my question answered? Well, all you need to do is become part of our Take Action crew. How do you do that? Very easy. Head on over to takeactioncrew.com. It's totally free, and we do it every single Friday, and it is a blast. So what you're about to listen to is one that we did last week. So this way here, even if you can't attend, you can always show up here to the Rock Your Brand podcast and listen to our live jam session. All right, guys, so sit back, relax, and let's jam. All right, guys, welcome back to this Friday jam session. You guys know this is the highlight of my week because, well, I get to hang out with some cool people that are on this live right now. Or if you're listening to this and you couldn't attend, well, that's okay. You're still cool, and I still want to hang out with you. So I'm bringing this Friday jam session to you on the podcast, or if you're watching this or listening to this live, well, then we're hanging out together more or less in person, which is really, really cool. So what I want to do today, though, on this jam session is I want to start this off, this conversation, from something that came up yesterday on our 100th celebration, by the way, on our coffee talks. So if you missed that, well, you missed out. We had a really great time. If you want to be part of these coffee talks, all you need to do is head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Again, that's takeactioncrew.com, and it will take you to the Facebook page. And then from there, you can sign up to be notified for when we go live. And you can hang out with us and drink some coffee or whatever you're drinking in the morning. But yeah, we've been doing these on a regular basis. So today, what we're going to be talking about, because this one came up yesterday, and then we're going to dig into any other questions that you have. But it really is, Scott, how do I niche down? Now, I know that seems kind of obvious to some people. They're like, well, I've heard you talk about this before, but I want to give you some more examples because I find this is a bottleneck for a lot of people. If you can't get out of this stage, you can't actually start building the business. Or here's another scenario. People already have a product that they're selling, one product, two products, whatever, and they don't know how to really position their product to a market. And in order to position the product to a market, you got to know how to niche down. All right. So a lot of times people go too broad or they go too niche. Okay. And there's pros and cons to both. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you. And if you're watching this, you're going to see it. If you're listening, I'm going to try to describe it the best way that I can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for some additional questions on this. But the question that I received was, Scott, how do I niche down? Can you give me more clarity on how I would do this? So the best way to really explain this is to share a couple of examples. So what I'm going to do right now is, again, and if you're listening to this, you're not going to see this, but if you're watching this, you will, and I'll just try to explain everything. So I'm putting up a screenshot right now that it will demonstrate exactly what we're talking about here, and I'm going to explain this, all right? So we always have our main niche or niche, however you want to say it. We talked about this before about how do you really pronounce it? I don't know. I think we all know what a niche is though, right? Or a niche. It's a market, okay? It's a market. Just we've all been kind of, brought to our attention that people call it a niche. So that's what we refer to it as. So in this case, I've done a little artwork here for us, but we have the main niche, right? So just think about, we see this big box at the top, right? The top of the page. So if you had a piece of paper right now and you were to write out main niche and then draw an arrow down, create another box, and then put the main niche in there. So in this case, let's just say it's fishing. Okay. Now, if we back out of this for a second and we say, well, we could be talking about sports and outdoors, couldn't we? Right. But we all know that's very broad. That could be hiking, camping, fishing, hunting. It could be, it could be running. It could be mountain biking. It could be any of that stuff, right? Sports and outdoors covers a wide range of niches. Okay. So we would never want to go that broad. Okay. Now, in that broad sports and outdoors, we've said, okay, fishing. We didn't even say hunting. We're not doing fishing and hunting, although you could, but then you would want to break those two apart and start to serve both of those markets. Okay. But we're going to take fishing, for example, and we're going to kind of break that into its own niche. Okay. So now if you can see this, if you're not watching me, if you're listening, if you can imagine seeing this box that says main niche, an arrow pointing down to fishing in another box. And now from here, we're going to have 3 additional boxes underneath. And inside those boxes is 3 separate sub niches. So we have bass, that would be bass fishing. We have fly fishing, and we have deep sea fishing. So now we have 3 additional. Now we can probably come up with more. To be honest with you, there's more types of fishing, right? That's what we're looking at is types of fishing, right? If you're into fly fishing, you might not be into bass fishing. You might be, but you might not be, okay? But if you're into fly fishing, there's a whole segment of the market that we could go after, okay? Now, bass fishing, same idea. Deep sea fishing, same idea, right? So I'm going to drill into bass fishing now. So now imagine we have main niche, we have fishing, then we have 3 separate boxes, bass fishing, fly fishing, deep sea fishing. And then below that now, I've got 2 additional boxes under bass fishing, okay? And I'm going to go into kayak bass fishing. That would be another sub niche, okay? And then the next one would be like tournament fishing. So if someone's doing bass fishing tournaments, they might be totally different, okay, than someone that's just a casual fisherman that's looking to do some bass fishing in a pond on the weekends with his son or her son or whatever, right? Like maybe that's what it is, right? But if we bring over the other market, go into the other market, kayak bass fishing, now that's a whole nother market, right? A whole nother sub niche inside of bass fishing. So you see what we did there? If I'm selling, okay, a fishing rod, I don't want to just sell a fishing rod. I want to sell a fishing rod that's specifically designed for bass fishing. And from there, I also probably want to call attention to it for kayak bass fishing people because it's designed specifically for that type of fishing, right? So if I was to sell a product, that's what it would be about. If I'm creating content, it's going to be easier for me to rank for content on Google if I go long tail with kayak bass fishing for beginners, right? Or kayak bass fishing, let's see, maybe tackle, right? What kind of tackle do I need as a kayak bass fisherman, right? Or what type of travel gear do I need for kayak bass fishing? Because I got to put the kayak on the roof or in the back of the truck, right? There's different things there. There's certain things that I can talk about just the kayak bass fishing as far as the kayak itself, right? So there's all that stuff I can go into. Tournaments. If I went into tournaments, I could also add tournaments, by the way, to kayak bass fishing. I can go kayak bass fishing tournaments because I know that that's a thing, right? So this is how I niche down. This is how you have to think about your market. So what I want you to do is take a piece of paper when you get a chance and write out main niche. And then I want you to put a box and I want you to fill in what is that main niche that you're going after. And then what I want you to do is put at least 2 different boxes or additional boxes below. And I want you to give me 2 sub niches there. And then if you can, you might even be able to go another layer below that. All right. And this will help you start to see a segment in the market. Now, with all this being said, this is great and all. This is only one part in this process, by the way, because now what we need to do is we need to validate that there's actually traffic in kayak bass fishing. And then once we find that there is traffic, then we have to validate that there's money being generated in kayak bass fishing market. Okay. So you see how it kind of all ties together. And that's why I've given out my checklist, the 3-step process. It's really about identifying your niche and your sub niches. And then from there, validating that there's traffic and then validating that there's money being made in that niche or in that sub niche. All right. So again, this is how everything works. And yesterday on our 100th coffee talk, I had a little quiz and I said, what is the most important part in building a brand? What is the number one thing that you must get right? And that is you must find your sub niche and you must validate that there's traffic and there's money in it. Bottom line, if you don't do that, the rest, you can do all the work, but it's not going to pan out. Right? We got to do that part up front. It's really, really important. All right. I'm going to move on to one more example. All right. So again, if you're listening to this, you're not going to see this, but I'm going to try to describe everything that I have here on this sheet here. Okay. So again, if you had a piece of paper, we would see main niche, top box. And now the niche that I'm looking into is fitness. Big niche, by the way, right? Fitness is a massive, niche. So how do I niche down? Well, let's go through this exercise. So let's say that I wanted to, and I've got 3 boxes again, kickboxing. So kickboxing is a form of fitness. It's been created as a fitness routine. It's now a thing, by the way. All right. The next one that I have in my second box is CrossFit. CrossFit is another form of fitness. Okay. And then the third box, I have cycling. Now we could have spin class. We could have cycling maybe on the mountainside. Like we can have all kinds of things with cycling. So we could go deeper into cycling. We can just say spin, right? Spin classes or spin cycling, right? That could be its own thing inside of cycling. Or cycling could be that you want to go do, some competitive racing or whatever. Or maybe it's just casual cycling. Okay. Now I'm going to go deeper here into kickboxing. So if I went into kickboxing, now imagine this. If you're listening to this, we have main niche, fitness. We have on the left below everything. We have 3 boxes, kickboxing, CrossFit, cycling. I'm going to dig deeper into kickboxing if that was the sub niche that I wanted to explore. So now I would say, okay, kickboxing for kids. I just niched down kickboxing, by the way. I can go into another little sub niche, kickboxing for women. And I can go into another one, kickboxing for seniors. Senior meaning, people that are in their 60s and 70s, right? So that would be 3 different sub niches inside of kickboxing. And I did this actually recently in a coffee talk where I did a niche drill down for boxing. And I believe it was Mark. Had asked the question about this market, about boxing for fitness, right? And so what we identified was people aren't searching for that, but they are searching for kickboxing, right? But then when we drilled in a little bit deeper, we also found that people are searching for kickboxing for kids or kickboxing for women or kickboxing for seniors. So part of this process, part of this drilling down allows us to see these things that we wouldn't have been aware of. So anytime that you have a market that you could tailor it for a specific demographic or type of person, you're going to be able to really speak to that person. Because if someone's looking for kickboxing for their kids, you're going to call that out in your content and you're going to be able to rank a lot easier than just kickboxing. Okay. But you're also going to be able to rank a lot easier for something kickboxing versus just fitness, right? So we have to figure out what the angle is, but we also have to sub niche it down. Once we do that, then we have to say, okay, kickboxing, I could use those 3 different subcategories and it would make total sense. Maybe I'm going to start where the greatest opportunity is first, and that might be for kids, right? And then once I do that, I'm going to develop the content because I've done the validation on the traffic. And then I've also said, okay, what are these people going to buy? Right? Maybe there's some kickboxing popular programs out there. Maybe one is being offered by Beachbody right now, and they have an affiliate program for 25% for anybody that signs up for Beachbody on demand. And then I'm going to go ahead and create content that talks about kickboxing for kids, and then I'm going to lead them over to Beachbody. Maybe that's the strategy. Okay. So again, this is how it works when we're niching down, but we got to get really clear on the bigger market and then the smaller part of the market and then the smaller subsets of the market. All right. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, if you're listening to this, you may want to go to, again, takeactioncrew.com, and you'll be able to see this. If you go back to some of the past coffee talks, this is a Friday jam session. So you'll be able to watch this because we always publish this on the podcast and on YouTube as a jam session. So let's see, guys. You guys got any questions? Let's go in here and see what we got. All right. Okay. So, all right. So Derek says, I'm interested in developing my niche 40 days without processed foods. Okay. So I like this. I like this angle, Derek. And I think with what you're asking here, let me get this off the screen. I think with what you're asking here is, and you did right here in the follow-up, how do I niche down 40 days without processed foods? Okay. So first off, 40 days without processed foods is the thing that's going to help someone get the result. What is the result that you're helping them get? And who is it for? Right? So who is that person? One person. Who is that one person that this is designed for? And why would I? So the 40 days without processed foods, that's the thing. Okay. That's the vehicle that's going to help someone get a result. What is the result that you are trying to help someone with? What is the problem that someone is facing that going 40 days without processed foods will deliver to? So that's what we need to figure that out first. And then they might not even be searching 40 days without processed foods. They might be searching how to get my cholesterol, fixed or whatever, right? And then this here would be the solution to that. What would be some of the signs that the market is not good to go ahead with? Well, we got to look at the traffic. We always start with the traffic numbers. We have to see, is there enough traffic when I start to go into this sub niche? And then from there, we have to see, is there opportunities to make money? So if there's enough traffic, website traffic, then there's a good chance that we can turn on an ad network and probably make money through the ad network. If we look at the affiliate opportunities, are there products on Amazon, on Etsy, on eBay, on any other affiliate program, maybe it's a private brand that has an affiliate program. Maybe it's ClickBank, any of that stuff. We want to see if there's opportunity there. Is there opportunity for us to create a digital product, a digital guide, any of that stuff? Is there an opportunity there? If there is, then we move forward. But it starts with the traffic, because if I can't get enough eyeballs, doesn't matter if I have great products or if, there's products to be sold. I need traffic, right? So we got to figure that out first. Derek says, what if I start with day one of 40 days without processed foods? Okay, we still got to figure out who's this for, Derek. Who is this for? Who is asking for this help? Who is searching for this help? Okay. Salama, would you say a big market like, for example, coffee would still be good to go after if you niche down with who you would serve? Well, we gotta ask ourselves with the coffee. So here's a great example. This is coffee in here, right? But it's not your typical coffee. This coffee in here is bulletproof coffee. And that's been coined by Dave Asprey because he came up with the concept of putting butter in your coffee, which helps with mental clarity and just being more productive. And it's better for your system, your biochemistry and all of that stuff, right? So it's not about the coffee. It's about what does this do, right? So if you think about that, what I'm looking for isn't necessarily coffee. I'm looking for a solution. And when I'm looking at like brain clarity or brain focus or being more alert or any of that stuff, and I come across stuff around that, it's going to then bring me to, coffee. I could put something in my coffee. Same thing with, okay, let's talk about like if you put protein in your coffee, right? That could be another angle, right? But if you're just going to create something around coffee, it's a huge market, right? So what you got to do is you got to find the angle that you're going to come into that people are looking for, that are going to be searching for. Maybe it's a certain style of coffee. And then from there, it's going to lead people over there. But is there enough traffic that you can keep creating stuff for that? So that one there might be a little bit tougher. We need to go a little bit deeper on who it's for. Would you check traffic on Uber Suggest? What is a good number to go for? Well, okay, we've done this a few times. I'm actually going to be doing another niche drill down, actually a few of them. I'm going to be doing that definitely next week. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, if you are listening to this the week of July 6th, we are opening Brand Creators Academy. And if you're listening to this after the fact, well, you can go back and watch the replay of our niche drill downs, which this will probably be aired after the fact. But you can still go get the checklist at brandcreators.com/checklist. That will help you with this brand validation or niche validation, really. And I'll actually show you through a video on how to do that. So if you're watching this live right now, you guys are going to see this next week. If you're listening to this later, then you are going to want to go to brandcreators.com/checklist, and that will help you in this process. What are some examples of markets that you decided not to go with? Well, the one that we just talked about was boxing for fitness. Like, I wouldn't go after that market because I didn't see the potential in creating enough content for that topic. What I would do is I would reposition that and pivot that direction towards kickboxing. It's basically very similar. It's just a little different. Now, can I still talk about boxing for fitness? Yes, but my main focus is going to be kickboxing for fitness kind of thing. Let's see. Chris says, great refresher, Scott. Yeah, no problem. All right. So that's basically what I would do once again, right? I would figure out what is the big market, right? What is the market? Like, finding help for processed foods, that's not a market or a niche. A market or a niche would be like how to, well, keto. Let's just say keto is a niche market, right? It's a niche market in the health and fitness market in a sense, right? So keto is a diet in a sense, or what's the other one? Gosh, there's a bunch of different ones out there, but you're looking at that as the angle, right? And then from there, you can give them the 40 days without processed foods, and here's the result that it's going to give you. Or it's people struggling with something, and then that's the market that you're going to serve. Oh, okay. So Derek says 40 days without processed foods is for everyone, women, men, kids. Should niche it down by age groups or the results I want, such as getting rid of diabetes, high blood pressure. Well, yes. Okay. So first off, and you kind of said it here, it's for everyone. Okay. We don't want to do that. That's a mistake that a lot of people make, is right out of the gate. They're like, this is for everyone. I want everyone to come to me. No. Okay. You want to find a specific targeted market that you are going to serve, and your content is going to speak to them and only them right now. Anyone else comes in, they're like, that's not for me. And that's okay. Now, I'm not saying you can't tailor it for women and then tailor it for men and then tailor it for kids. You totally can, but you need to look at what's the best opportunity for you right now. So if you look for, so some of these examples were diabetes, right? So something might be like how to prevent diabetes for kids, right? Or 5 processed foods that could be causing diabetes in kids, right? That right there would get someone's attention. Now, guess what? They're going to go ahead and go, I'm looking for something for my kid that might have diabetes or is heading in that direction. And there's 5 foods right here that you're going to tell me to avoid. I want that. And then they're going to be searching for that, right? So we know that that's what so you've kind of narrowed it down by saying, I'm going to call out the diabetes. The next one could be like 5 foods to avoid for high blood pressure in kids or in women or in men over 40. Now we just niched down again, right? So that's what we need to do. You need to start getting that mindset that we're not serving everyone. And then what I would do is I would start doing research. Is there more traffic right now for the diabetes for kids, or the high blood pressure for kids, or the high blood pressure for men, or whatever, or men over 40 or men over 50? And that's where I would start. It doesn't mean that's where you're going to only focus forever. you're going to also add those other things in, but you want to see the greatest opportunity so you're not wasting your time. And it's also less competitive because you're going long tail. All right. Okay. Karen said, had a preschool checklist we used as a lead magnet. I put out a Facebook ad and only got 30 extra subscribers. I think we need to change the lead magnet and make it even more inviting. What do you think? Okay, so a preschool checklist we used as a lead magnet. I put out a Facebook ad and only got 30 extra subscribers. So again, Karen, we'd have to break this down. Again, this would be another great hot seat to do with you. And I love it that Karen is so willing, by the way, because Karen is in BCA, Brand Creators Academy. And, usually what we'll do is we'll take someone, we'll put them in the hot seat, and then we'll go through and we'll help them with these areas. Actually, Karen is a perfect example of someone that was stuck. And actually, we met at Brand Accelerator Live, and I had a few conversations with her. And the one conversation I said was, listen, you just got to pick something and go. And she did it. But now we're at the place where we got to make decisions and we got to see what is best for, moving forward. So there's two things, Karen. Number one is I need to see the lead magnet. And I think you sent that stuff over to me. And tomorrow, what we're going to do, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can always go and listen to the next coffee talk that we do. But basically what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to go through Karen's digital product funnel. And we're going to break that down, and I'm going to show you what I like and what I think needs to be addressed or tweaked. And then that way there you can kind of see that, because I do think there's a huge opportunity for us to be creating these digital products, these small digital products that could get us more emails, get us more leads, but also turn into profits. So I'm going to be breaking that down. But part of that, Karen, might be looking at the lead magnet, because we got to get the lead magnet right. If we get the lead magnet right, then we can bolt the stuff on the back end. So Karen, do me a favor, send me over whatever you have, okay, that you can give me and share with me. And then what we can do is we can break that down. That might be a totally different session, and we might just do that in BCA. Maybe we'll do it here, but we'll definitely do that in BCA. But give me all of the information. Send it to me, scott@brandcreators.com, and we'll go ahead and we'll get that taken care of, and we'll dig into that. Okay, so you said that you already sent that to me. All right, awesome. Okay, and if there's any other details, make sure you give me all the links to all the pages. Very helpful talk. I've identified where I need to go with this now. Awesome, Derek. That's good news. All right, cool. So that is pretty much going to wrap up this little jam session today. I wanted to, again, address this because I think it's very, very important to understand really what it looks like as far as doing these drill downs. What I want you to do, if you're listening to this on the podcast, or even if you're watching this, even at a later date, I'm going to put up a link here, or I'm going to tell you the link if you're listening. brandcreators.com/checklist. Okay. brandcreators.com/checklist. Make sure you go through the checklist. This will totally help you. It's going to help you in like literally 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm going to walk you through it in another video showing you exactly what we're doing here, exactly what I just did here. So it makes sense, because if you can find these sub niches and then validate them, okay, you're not going to be wasting your time and you're going to have more clarity. Just like we did here with Derek. Like Derek, I just went through this with Derek pretty much, and I did it within 10 minutes, and we've already identified a different angle, not the angle that he was coming in at. Like, oh, I want to start writing about 40 days without processed foods. Okay, great. Who's the market that you're targeting? Who is the person? Who is the avatar, right? And it's really important that we get that right. All right. Okay. And then the other thing is, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, you're not going to have the opportunity as of right now to join Brand Creators Academy, but I would recommend grabbing the playbook. The playbook is going to walk you through the validation process in detail as well, but it's also going to help you build out the entire brand once you get validated. So again, brandcreatorsbook.com is where you'll find that. Again, if you're listening to this or watching this after July 10th, we are not open for enrollment. We won't be open probably until September, to be realistic. And I'll have the exact date on that coming out here once we do open and then close enrollment, but we aren't going to be opening again Brand Creators Academy until about September. So again, if you're interested in joining, if you're watching this live, then you do have the opportunity to join us on Monday, July 6th. If you're listening to this after the fact, you will not, but you can still go through this exact playbook that our members, our students are going through, and you can grab yourself this copy, which is very, very detailed. It's 107 pages. It's our playbook that we build all of our brands using. So again, brandcreatorsbook.com. Grab a copy and print it out. Make sure that you print it out. All right, guys. So that's it. That's it for today. And again, if you want to join us on these live coffee talks, these live jam sessions, then all you need to do is head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Again, that's takeactioncrew.com. And you can get all the details there, and you can set that notification so you never miss one of these. All right. So again, would love to have you. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that Friday jam session. And like I said in the beginning, if you want to attend one of our live Friday jam sessions, all you need to do is head on over to takeactioncrew.com. That is where we show up every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And you can join us. You can ask a question, and then I can answer it. And we can go ahead and also publish it here on the podcast. So once again, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. This is always one of the highlights of my week. And until next time, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you, and I am rooting for you. But you have to, come on, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day, and I'll see you right back here on the next episode. Now go rock your brand.